And tonight, finally, we're talking about Le Million from 1931, directed by Rene Clair. A synopsis from Letterboxd, and the tagline for this film: "You must see it to know how indescribably clever and enormously smart," in quotation marks, a movie can be.
Who wrote that?
Some guy from the 30s.
Nice.
Debt-ridden painter Michel is overcome with joy at discovering that he has just won 1 million florins in the Dutch lottery, but almost immediately he discovers that his soft-hearted girlfriend Beatrice has given away his jacket containing the winning ticket to an elderly petty thief. Soon, Michel, whatever, Beatrice and Michel's artistic rival Prosper are hurling through the streets of Paris on the trail of the missing jacket. So, this is a movie I knew nothing about going in. As mentioned last week, didn't know anything about it. I'm not even really familiar with Rene Clair as a director. He's got like a couple other movies in the Criterion Collection, like one called I Married a Witch, stuff like that. But he seems like a guy that if he was ever like really in favor in like the movie circles, it's definitely fallen. But it's like crazy. Like you read the essay for this movie, and like the guy mentions like his name in the same breath as like Fellini, Bergman, Chaplin, Kurosawa, Antonioni, Hitchcock, and Rene Clair. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Because even like the presentation of this particular Criterion DVD is like bare bones. Like it's still on DVD only. It doesn't have much of like a fanfare at all. That being said, so watch this, and I thought, what a nice movie this is.
Yeah. Is that the word you're going to use?
It's nice. It's a nice movie. Yep.
Would you say fun?
It's a jaunt. It's a jaunty movie.
Continue.
Okay. So, I mean, like, I watched this movie. I didn't really even wind up taking notes watching this because there's, like, not what can you say about, essentially, it's a romantic comedy. Though I feel like this sort of movie is, like, generic enough that, like, you don't have to have, like, a particular taste in comedy to, like, find this movie charming.
Right.
It's sort of like, I don't know. I could see some old people being like, that movie is so hysterical. I died laughing, like back in the 30s. Yeah. But like now it's just kind of like, oh, it's so quaint. It's so like, oh, look at them. They're all chasing one another through corridors, and they're going one through one door and through another. And it's just like, oh, look at that. Look how simple the old days were. That being said, too, I've seen some like pretty amazing like short films, like some like Laurel and Hardy stuff, and like some like there's like some early Chaplin shorts and Buster Keaton, et cetera, all the classic guys, and some of that stuff is like really good. Like you watch like Laurel and Hardy's like music box, that is like pretty fucking funny. There's like nothing in here that's that funny considering it's a comedy. It's a musical too, which is also like, oh good god, no, for me, because sometimes it's like I just like zone out during musicals for the most part. And I thought it was funny watching this movie following on the heels of The Magic Flute, which was a movie like entirely about an opera. This movie's like one of its major set pieces is an opera. And the one big scene involving like an opera with like the two characters sitting in the background just hanging out is like a fantastic scene that I actually liked a lot and like thought that was really good. So I don't know. The movie pretty well is exactly as described. It's just about a guy who like, I guess like we're supposed to be like in his corner because he like owes people money all over town. And like, he's like, I guess engaged to this girl, or he's like in a relationship with her, but like he has no problems like wanting to mac on this like other blonde floozy who just throws herself at him because he's painting her portrait. And like, okay, I guess like knowing a little bit about art world stuff, I guess there's like this idea that like him and his like painting partner are sharing this studio, and like while they're working, one does like the housework pretending to be their like housekeeper, and then they switch when like they're running like an angle, but they don't really make this clear in the movie.
Right.
And yeah, so this guy's kind of like a piece of crap, but he's like not like a bad, mean-spirited person. He just doesn't think that I have to pay you back.
Yeah, I saw that as he was a piece of shit and
Yeah.
he was a bum, and he's like, you people and your penny pinching. It's like, nah, dude, you gotta pay your bills, man.
Yeah.
You can't just be a vagabond going around not paying your bills.
You gotta pay your
And
rent.
he's hitting up all the floozies on the side. He's like, or the girl's like, who's that? He's like, oh, that was my fiance. Don't worry about her, babe. Like,
Never mind that.
I know what you were saying, but like the whole time I was watching, I was like, this guy's not likable at all. He's like, he won't pay his bills, he sleeps around, and he's kind of a prick. And not in like the Walter White Breaking Bad way, where it's just like, ooh, he's a what's the fucking word for that again? You know what I mean.
Well,
when you root for the bad guy.
Well, RJ,
Anti-hero.
You might remember during our creep when I was talking about Daddy Longlegs in depth, and that great.
I definitely remember that
great
conversation.
Safdie film, and like how one of the common complaints with that movie is like how utterly detestable and unlikable the main character in that is.
Sure.
And like it works there because like this guy, like he goes all out, and like the movie is not sympathetic to his plights. Like he is just like a piece of shit, and you're like, there's like a squirm factor of like watching this guy be a bad person, and you're like, oh God, oh my God, he just drugged those children. Oh, fuck, why is he doing this? and here he's like, oh, he's like he's a kind of a lovable piece of shit, right? And it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like, I'm not really rooting for him. And I mean, the biggest, the big thing that like is weird about this movie is it tells you right in the first like 2 minutes that everything works out fine in the end.
Yeah, it does. So what Jarrett's saying is like the way this movie starts is there's like this big barn dance basically in this like this house, and two guys look in the window and they're like,
okay, it opens up with this really cool like overhead shot of like a constructed Paris, and it's really nice looking. It
reminded me of Caligari, like German expressionists or whatever the fuck that is.
And Henry V.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got this really nice opening, and then it like cuts across the plain and it shows all these roofs, and then it's like I said, it's like a barn dance. There's like this huge house and all these people are dancing, and two guys just jump on the roof and they look in the window and they're like, hey, what are you dancing about? And then this old guy with a mustache comes out and slaps his knee, and he's like, let me tell you, son, if you can stand to hear it. And then it like plays out. And then I actually thought like it plays out where he tells the story, and then at the end he gets the money, and you're like, okay, cool. And then they have the dance, and then you see the guys in the window again. And for a minute, I was like, oh my God, is this like a weird cyclical film that like is repeated forever? I was like, what is this, like goes on forever repeating itself kind of? Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was gonna happen, but then it didn't. I was like, you don't got no balls. 1932.
Rene Clair, if that's your real name.
That's the movie I would have made. Yeah, so I didn't realize that. I guess I should have, but I just didn't like care that much, so I guess I didn't piece it together.
You weren't paying attention?
I haven't even talked about what I thought about this movie, so
no, I know.
I don't know if you want to. You keep going, and then I'll come in.
You can go ahead.
Okay. This movie's fine. It has some parts that like I smirked at, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." Like, when the guys are, it's like really tongue in cheek. The two guys to each other. He's like, "Hey, why don't you leave us alone, pal?" And the other guy's like, "Shut up." That's all they say to each other, and I thought that was really funny. They also have some awesome one-liners in here. Like, I wrote this down as a quote: "They're awful people, these artists," and that made me think of you. And I was like, "How true? How true?" No, there's like some funny banter between some of the characters, and I don't find them. I don't find the music like off-putting. I don't mind musicals. I think that's pretty good too. And
right.
Like it's playful and it's a fun enough story, but I never really cared. It's not because it's an old movie and like you expect it to kind of turn out in the end. I really didn't like the guy. I thought he was a fucking asshole because it's like I said, he doesn't pay his bills and he sleeps around town and he's just mean and he's like entitled. And I was like, I don't like this guy. He's like the Max Landis of 1930s painter Renaissance or whatever. And it wasn't just that. I
He's
mean,
not that talented though.
no, he's not. Oh, yeah. People don't like original content anymore. That's the only reason that people don't like it, you know? No, there's a few, like, it's like I said, there's stuff I like. Like, I think there's cool banter. I like the opera scene where they're fighting over the jacket. I thought that was cool. And I swear there's a scene where it cuts to like people in a box at the opera, and one guy he's like laughing, and then on his fingers is a mustache, and he presses it to his lips, and he sticks a mustache on his face. And like, I swear that happens. I could be wrong. I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing bad about this movie, and I don't think it's that it's old or dated, because that doesn't really bother me. Like, we talked about that before. Just because a movie's old doesn't mean it's not good. There's just, I don't know. There was never anything about it that made me kind of be like, oh yeah, or wow. I understand why it's in the Criterion Collection, because it's an old fucking movie, and I guess it was probably a big deal then. So I think it fits that criteria, I guess. But I don't know, man. I was like, it's there. I'm never gonna watch it again.
Yeah, so. It's an odd little movie that like exists in the collection at this point. I don't know. Like I said, I think I liked it more than you did, just because I thought it was like pretty inoffensive. I also like, I really didn't like Magic Flute.
I know.
I can't stress that enough. That movie like really just like.
Is that not the very lowest movie of your ranking list so far?
My secret ranking list.
Your
Yeah,
secret,
I think I have it as my like. I did not like that. Just because it's just like totally uncinematic. Right. Having watched I enjoy watching pre-code Hollywood movies, and this I thought I liked it. The woman who played Beatrice, the love interest, Annabella, I thought she was really awesome in this. Like, I thought she was like really good, like super sympathetic, and like she was like a good person in this, who's trying to like, I guess, like hook. Maybe she doesn't have the best choice in men, because she's trying to like hang out with Michel Boufflet, and then his buddy Prosper. He doesn't even have a last name. He's just that kind of guy. Prosper. So that's a bad dude name. Like from like a X-Men movie or something.
Yeah.
So I was reading a little bit about the movie. This was Rene Clair's second sound movie. But I mean, it's really weird because like watching this, like the best parts of the movie were actually when he was just going back to being like a silent filmmaker and like not having characters actually talking, and he just have music over kind of the action, and they're not even talking. They're just like mouthing their words, and like you can follow the action just fine. Which actually I think was like the best parts of the movie, when he just went into silent movie mode. So I thought that was good. And like I said, like I really, really liked the opera scene with Beatrice and Michael, because it's just like this really sweet thing with like the flowers coming down, and it's sort of in sync with the whole sequence up front. I thought it was like a real like very La La Land-esque.
No, yeah, that scene is really good, and I think I know another reason why you really like this. What you mentioned earlier, you're a fan of that Laurel and Hardy and Buster Keaton. I feel like there's some humor like that in this, where, as you said, guys running from this room to that room, and it's like, and their bow ties are spinning.
Yeah,
because you're
remember that
at heart, you're an 80-year-old man, and I think you love that kind of stuff. So, I thought you would like this actually. And it's like, I don't dislike it. I just whatever. I'm never gonna watch it again. It was fine.
Indifferent.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I'm neither for nor against it. I just don't care that much.
Right. There's like other things I guess I could mention would be like the filmmaking at times is a bit rough. But I mean, it's also 1931. I'm not sure what sort of resources like the French like movie industry had, and especially for making like a cheap little comedy that's like, hey, we're filming this in like 2 rooms and a hallway, and then we're gonna have like this opera scene, and that's about it for stuff. And then there's like the backstage stuff, which like it's like cheap stuff to do. I don't know. I thought there's like there's like the funny gag of like, oh, the jacket, it keeps changing people's hands, and like each time it changes hands, there's the
Yeah.
guy who takes it says, "Oh, I'm at this location," and
Mhm.
it's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, in case you ever need to find me,
Yeah.
I'm an opera singer and I perform nightly at the Belmont.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I need to know that?
It's like-
Well, just in case you ever need to know, you know.
But then, of
Like,
course, the gag too is like when that information's needed, it's like, oh, I don't remember what they said. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually
People-
that's pretty realistic. Like seriously, if someone told you that and like
Yeah.
it's just some guy, and then like you had to like recall that information, you'd probably be like, I really don't remember. Like because no one actually pays attention
Yeah.
to those conversations unless they like, leave you their card, and then it becomes an important clue later on. And so at least they didn't go down that route, and it was like kind of weird little like ways that people do remember this stuff. Again, like the police are they have like a big musical number.
Yes, they do.
Cracking heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a I don't know. It's definitely it's a comedy.
It's a movie.
It's a movie. Scenes occur.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah, and it's short. It's like actually
Yeah, it's
like,
80 minutes, which is very nice.
yeah.
Refreshing.
In this modern era of like I don't know, watching Stephen King movies like every day and
Mhm.
Wes Anderson movies, yeah, it's nice to have a short little thing.
A short little thing, just like me.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say, you're talking about conversations people have where they say stuff and you don't remember, like where they work and stuff. I think you talk about like every week where you work, and I still have no idea. Whenever anyone asks, it's like, where's that guy work? It's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, you know, at least
I don't know who that guy is.
RJ, at least I have a job.
I have a job, friend.
Yeah.
You come out. I'll show you some cows one day.
That's not real work.
What?
We're working at this pleasure palace, hanging out with cows.
Pleasure Palace. Oh my God. I don't think you know what goes on there. One day you'll come out and you'll see, and you won't eat meat anymore.
But I love meat.
Exactly.
So what else would I mention about this movie? I like the look of this movie. It has this like low key kind of atmosphere that's like inadvertent. I don't think it was like I want my movie to definitely look like this. I think it's just like the way that they shot it and like smaller budget, age of the movie. It just has like a real nice atmosphere that kind of emerges from it. It's kind of like in that weird era in between World War I and World War II, before utter devastation and things got torn down and blown up real good, and occupation by Nazis. Because this is another movie. It's like, yeah, this is a movie before Nazis roll through Paris, and things become less jaunty and fun.
Yeah. They were fun then too. It's just no one remembers that.
All right.
I'm sure there was someone having fun at that time
Yeah.
when they weren't starving to death in like the camps.
Yeah. Just generally being occupied, being shot for no reason. Yeah.
Good times.
Oh, so from the Criterion essay written by one Elliot Stein, who threw Rene Clair's name in with Fellini, Bergman, Chaplin, etc. Because this is like all there is to really talk about with this movie, because there's not much about it. Even the Wikipedia is very underwhelming. For many years, Rene Clair was ranked with Jean Renoir and Marcel Carné as one of France's greatest directors. He was arguably the most archetypical French of the three. His early sound films, especially Le Million, influenced filmmakers everywhere. And then there's a bunch of movies that they claim were influenced by it, like the Marx Brothers, Night at the Opera, which, like, I don't know, like the Marx Brothers were like in total full swing when this was made, so I don't know if that was there. Chaplin's Modern Times, I don't know. Rene Clair seems like he's a guy making comedies, light comedies, and now he's in the Criterion Collection by George.
For some reason.
See, it even concludes, while a good deal of European cinema, the 1930s has not stood the test of time. Le Million hasn't aged a bit. Seeing it today, nearly 70 years after its release, and this is the year 2000 when it was written, one still cannot help feel exhilarated by its sheer audacity and grace.
Come on.
Yeah.
What?
Sometimes it's fun reading these essays and you go, One thing that I want to point out too is the downside of winning the lottery. There's like all sorts there's all sorts of articles on Google, like Powerball, how winning the lottery makes you miserable.
Mm-hmm.
13 things lottery winners won't tell you. 5 reasons you don't really want to win the lottery. What becomes of lottery
What?
winners? Lottery horror stories. Winning the lottery is the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
I don't think so.
Winning the lottery is a bad thing, and this is why. It's all from reputable websites like celebritynetworth.com
Jesus.
and Huffington Post. And the
Huff, eh?
creditcards.com.
Oh, I wonder what they're all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give them your social insurance so that you can access the site's finer details.
Yeah, you can sign up.
They just want to verify that you're not a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, RJ,
Jeez.
there's a couple people here that they don't even really hate this movie. They're just kind of like, okay.
Kind of like me?
Yeah, there's a 2-star review that just says,
Yeah.
okay.
Nice.
There's here Ross Bonet, 2.5 stars. Criterion Spine number 72. I blame myself for setting high expectations for Le Million. The Criterion description for Le Million mentions it was a huge influence of Charles Chaplin and the Marx Brothers, and while I can see some of that, I do not agree. Much of what Le Million does had already been done far better by Chaplin and the Marx Brothers by 1931. Hey, I just was saying this. As one of my friends on Letterboxd explained, it is a comedy of errors. I saw the errors, but not the comedy. I did not say that. Because of this,
well, you're not a dink.
Yeah. Because of this, I didn't really care about the story being told, as it always felt like there was something missing. I had no desire to know how the story turned out, and I actually hoped the film ending ended on a disappointment for the main character. I was given no reason to want him to win, and I thought the film would be far more interesting if he failed after his lies and deceptions. So that's the thing, though, is the movie tells you it's all going to work out okay. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I guess.
A weird choice. I mean, the movie might have dramatically played out a little bit differently if you didn't know that everyone was happy at the end of the story.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said. I saw that, and I didn't pay enough attention or care enough to.
It's like imagine
even
watching
remember.
It's a Wonderful Life and being like, oh, everything works out okay. And then you watch the rest of the movie rather than it ends on this dour note of oh, this guy's going to fucking kill himself, and then it's shit, how did we get to that point? And then the story continues on rather than hey, it's all good, now we're going to spend 2.5 hours explaining why it's all good. Yeah. Calavante, 2.5 stars for Le Million.
Avante.
Le Million contains an idea similar to that one extensively developed in The £1,000,000 Note from 1954, but it employs it for the irrelevant purposes. For irrelevant purposes, after a couple of scenes meant to sketch silly affairs, a man who is always unable to pay his bills becomes known as the millionaire after winning the lottery. This earns him the praise and support of his fellow building inhabitants and the animosity of the ones who appear to be a close friend. However, the contrast of treatment is not what the film chooses to focus on, and instead embarks from the first minute on a settled comedy format. This is some weird writing. This seems like
weird.
It sounds translated or something. There's a lot of running around. Some dialogues turned into songs. My difficulties to enjoy musical parts seem to persist regardless of the decade the material is from, and a lots of mostly physical gags. But it's not until the second half of the movie that any of it begins to be funny. When two characters sneak into the stage during the opera, the comedy seems to be merged with the surroundings intelligently for the first time, in this occasion by overlapping the characters' unheard feelings with the singing. So that's the scene I think I was talking about that I really liked.
Yeah.
From that moment onwards, the occurrences appear to be more fortunate, not for the characters generally, and the film begins to add some cleverness to the execution of its humor. It becomes capable of grasping attention, even if rather late.
What? Can you repeat that all for me, please?
I think it's all pretty plain. I think it speaks for itself.
It has multitudes. Hey, is that what you'd say?
Yeah, it has multitudes.
Hey, what's that guy's favorite films?
Well, I'd have to look that up.
Well,
Gee.
I thought you took this thing seriously.
I don't, RJ. I really don't.
I wanted to know more about this guy, but you let me down.
No, I got to find out. I can't leave us on a cliffhanger here.
You just let me down. You let you down, and
Give me a minute here. I honestly I just saw a big block of text and I went, that guy seems like he has a lot of opinions. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
And I started, wait a minute. What?
Wait a minute.
What is this? Wow. Actually, one guy that usually hates everything, he gave this 3.5 stars. Punk. I don't know if you've seen that guy. He watches a lot of movies. He's crazy.
I don't know.
It's like PUNQ. That guy watches movies all the time.
He fucks.
He fucks those movies.
That guy fucks.
So Calavente has follows 2 people, 3 followers, 2 following. Is still active. Favorite? No, they have no favorite movies.
Whoa, what is he, like some kind of abstract artist?
Well, I can tell you what they've given 5 stars.
Yeah, just read the first 4.
Okay, their most recent. They've only given 1 movie 5 stars ever.
Okay, well let's just say that's his favorite then.
The Sting.
The Sting. I don't even know what that is.
Really?
Yeah.
No. 4.5 stars. They gave The Hours.
Okay.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Nice.
And Whiplash.
Nice. Okay, this guy's not bad.
Yeah. So
he seems like a cool dude. Or whoever this person is seems like a cool dude. Dude or dudette.
You've never heard of The Sting, huh? With Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Prohibition, musical comedy thing?
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't... Yeah, no, I think I know what this thing is. I've never seen it. That's for sure.
It's okay. It's fine.
Well,
anyway, I don't know. I got nothing else to really say about this movie. I liked it just okay. It's good-ish. Yep. You were just kind of indifferent.
I thought it was fine.
You'll never watch it again.
Nope.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yep.
Everyone's fine. That's what you've spent 2 hours listening to, folks. Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
After the break, I'm going to borrow some money from RJ to, I don't know, live a more comfortable lifestyle, and I have no intention whatsoever to pay him off until I win the lottery.
Joke's on you because I have all your credit cards already.
Oh no, damn it, I shouldn't have signed up to creditcard.com.